Can objective truth exist in memory, or are the stories we tell ourselves and others about the past iterative, the details ever-changing? Pierre Jarawan asks readers to consider how these personal and historical narratives are constructed in Song for the Missing, which will be out in my English language translation with World Editions in the spring of 2022. The book depicts a young man's reckoning with his past as he uncovers secrets within his family and discovers that he too shares in his home country's collective trauma, despite having spent his childhood in exile. The questions of memory and history and storytelling feel especially relevant and even pressing this week, as we've learned that the Daily Star, Lebanon's oldest English-language newspaper, has closed down, and we have to wonder what resources future generations will turn to in reconstructing the past, our current moment, and what the loss of reliable news sources mean for the present. I'll be reading from the book today, from a chapter called A House with Many Rooms. Any story will appear in a different light, depending on where its telling begins. This one, for instance, could appear with a pair of coffins, no more than crude wooden boxes really, excavated from a construction site before the eyes of the public, or with ash falling from the sky just before the first building started to burn, when it was reasonable to fear that everything would repeat itself. It could also open with an image of grandmother and me standing by a wall overgrown with weeds, and her saying, "Here, right here is where it happened." Or with another image, that of a drawing a man who would later become famous gave me when I was 13. The story could also start with my tracing the girl's course as she first crossed the flea market, then later left the ghost train at the amusement park before disappearing from my life. Or with the sight of a hand reaching for a coat in a beautiful old theater. Or, and this strikes me as most appropriate, at a spot exactly in the middle, on a day 5 days ago. Because everything is connected, and as far as I can say, that was a day that projected into both past and future. 2006. 1,000 bombs had fallen on Beirut, and I had finally arrived. You could hear it all the way out here, in the seclusion of the house I'd retreated to. Distant jets racing across the sky, then a delay, and the diminished growl of detonations. Sound waves traveled up from the city to the mountains within seconds. They rose from the valley and rolled over the lonely hillsides and the stone walls of my house. A tremor in the air. Tall cypresses swayed outside the windows. Birds issued from the branches. Had it not been a bright summer day with barely a cloud overhead, I'd have thought it was thunder, a summer storm. I stood at the kitchen window and watched the birds swarm across the sky. They leaned into the wind, moving in dense formation like a woven swath, then scattered over the hilltops and disappeared from sight. I set aside my tools and went outside. It was August, the air full of warmth and moisture. The smell of wood, resin, and foliage cloaked the garden. The house sat in a hollow flanked by 2 hills, and a narrow driveway, the entrance to which was easy to miss, led a few hundred yards from the edge of the property straight to the road. I crossed the garden, walked down the driveway in my slippers, and checked the mailbox. I had painted it blue, so it stood out among the trees concealing the house. The mailbox was empty. There was another detonation, faint and far away. I went back inside, put coffee on to brew, and returned to the garden, where I sat down on a rickety chair long battered by wind and weather that creaked ominously under my weight. A lizard darted out from under a stone and paused in a sunny spot 2 arms' lengths away. "Don't worry," I said. "We're safe here." My name is Elisabeth Lauffer, and I have just read from my translation of Pierre Jarawan's Song for the Missing, out next spring. Thank you.